When the cat's away, the mice come out of the closet. This is Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Seen and Heard. This is the podcast all about the sight and sound greatest films of all time list. I'm Greg.
I'm Jackie.
And we're on the list, ping-ponging this week, to our most recent film.
Yeah, this is the most contemporary film on the list.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah. And it's number 30.
Oh, it's number 30.
And it's Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
And obviously this wasn't on the 2012 list because it hadn't come out yet.
That's incredible. That's like when Bicycle Thieves was like on the first list.
What's crazy to me is that this movie was 3 years old when it got put on this list.
That's how amazing it is.
Yeah. I think things take a little longer to should be vetted longer than that. But anyway, it is a testament to how loved it is. But before we're already getting into it, before we get into the film this week, Jackie, what else have you been watching?
So I saw The Phoenician Scheme.
Oh, you did?
And honestly, I thought it was very cute. Like, I thought there's a father-daughter relationship at the center, so it isn't like this huge anthology ensemble like the other more recent Wes Anderson films have been. There's no like story within the story within the story within the story. It's a contained one story, super, beautifully designed, fun Wes Anderson movie, I think.
You like it more than the last couple?
I have to rewatch Asteroid City, I think, but I kind of did.
Okay.
I kind of did, honestly.
Okay. Do you think I would
Just
like it?
because, I actually felt things.
Wow. Do you think I should see it?
Yeah, I think it's fun, especially if you have AMC A-list. Like,
yeah,
get some popcorn, go. It's fun. And then I saw Life is Sweet, the Mike Leigh movie.
That's one of my all-timers.
I think he's so good. I think he's a genius, and I think Timothy Spall is so good.
That's my next Halloween costume.
Timothy Spall in that.
In that movie.
He's fucking
with his
funny.
pineapple.
He's so funny.
He's so fucking funny.
So stupid.
Yeah.
And I love how everything in his restaurant just sounds disgusting. Like, it's like, we're going to have brains and then we're going to have kidneys. Like,
Regret Rian.
Like, bad. Yeah, Regret Rian. It's funny. I do think Secrets and Lies is better, though.
I mean, totally different movies. I know Mike Leigh he thinks that Life is Sweet is one of his worst movies.
Really?
Which for me, it's clear, it's far and away his best film. I think because it marries comedy to tragedy so well.
I feel like the tragedy isn't tragic enough.
Well, that's what I like about it. Some of his movies are really like black pits, of despair. So
yeah.
I love that movie. I've seen it many, many times.
It's really good. I especially love the last scene.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did see Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh, did you like it?
I liked it until the very, 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 very end.
Oh, well, without spoiling anything, I think that's what made it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I really liked it. And I like the big moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, I'll tell you off mic.
Okay.
But other than that, I really liked it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was fun. I liked that it took broad strokes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was so like body horror-y.
Yeah, there's some of that in there.
Came out the same year as The Substance or the year before?
No, I think a year or two before.
Interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, nice modern and a neo-noir.
Yeah,
like we don't get a lot of those.
I agree.
Yeah. Nice. I think you've been watching more than I have.
Well, we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks.
That's true. We did not record last week. Been rewatching. I saw 28 Years Later.
Oh,
and it's incredible.
You liked it?
And it's Danny Boyle's best movie in quite some time. I really
good.
loved it. I'm gonna go back. I would say it's just a notch below the first one. Like it's even then it might even be on the same. I rewatched the first one and I realized that's a modern masterpiece. But this one, yeah, it was great. I'm gonna go back. Been watching some more Hammer, filling in some Hammer gaps. I rewatched The Parent Trap, the Lindsay Lohan Nancy Meyers directorial debut.
Perfect
Parent
movie.
Trap, which is so good.
It's so good.
So good. It's so good.
Like the fact that here's the thing. You should hate, they're horrible parents.
Yeah, it's a horrible idea.
You should hate them. It's a horrible idea. but it works and it doesn't matter.
Because they're so charming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fucking great movie.
I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
I'm so glad you love it too, because I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of my favorite films.
I think
Just like it's one of those films you grow up with and you hope is gonna stay good, and it just does. Like,
it does.
Every time you watch
Yeah.
it, you're like, oh yeah, this is amazing.
It really does. And then the last one I saw, Super Vixens. I'm continuing sort of a Russ Meyer journey. And because we did Beyond the Valley of the Dolls as a s'mores episode last year before, I think it was last year, and we were both kind of like, but the more I've seen from him, the more I like him. And this one was by far my favorite. This was a wild movie.
Wow.
Super Vixens. Kind of a comic book come to life, but it's also it's very much an exploitation movie with some nasty stuff in there, but then it turns into like a cartoon, and there's this weird, I really admire the singular vision he had, and he did everything himself. He shot it, he edited, he produced, he directed. So it's like, I have respect, unless we're from the same place. He was born in San Leandro, California. Loved it. So that's me. And I saw more because it's been 2 weeks, but I'll cap it there.
Cool.
Yeah. Well,
shall we get into it?
Let's do it. From 2019, this is Céline Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire was released in 2019. It was written and directed by Céline Sciamma, cinematography by Claire Mathon. The film has one title on its soundtrack, the single La Jeune Fille en Feu, composed by Para One and Arthur Simonini, performed by musical ensemble Sequenza 9.3. In 18th century France, a painter, Marianne, is commissioned to paint the portrait of a young upper-class woman, Eloise. Eloise is engaged to marry a Milanese nobleman, contingent on whether or not he likes her portrait. Eloise's sister was previously engaged to him, but following her suicide, Eloise was forced to give up her life in a convent and replace her sister in the marriage. Eloise's mother informs Marianne that Eloise refuses to pose, and she does not want to get married. Under the pretext of being a hired walking companion, Marianne must paint Eloise from memory in secret. They develop a friendship, and Marianne asks Eloise's mother if she can tell Eloise the truth herself and show her the painting once it's complete. Eloise is more hurt that the painting is not a truthful reproduction of her than she is about Marianne's betrayal. Upset, Marianne destroys the painting and asks Eloise's mother for permission to create a new one. Eloise offers to pose for the new painting, and Eloise's mother agrees to allow Marianne 5 days, during which time she will be away on the mainland. Having the house to themselves, Marianne, Eloise, and the housemaid Sophie become closer. Marianne starts seeing visions of Eloise dressed in white around the chateau. They read the myth of Orpheus and have a lively debate about whether Eurydice wanted Orpheus to turn around. Marianne and Eloise try to help Sophie abort her pregnancy. They take Sophie to a gathering of women to meet an abortionist. Marianne and Eloise finally kiss while on a walk one day and consummate their love that night. They take Sophie to her abortion, and Eloise insists Marianne paint the scene later. The portrait of Eloise is complete, a much more truthful reflection of her personality. Marianne and Eloise have a brief fight over the frustration of their soon-to-come parting. They quickly make up. Marianne draws herself a memento of Eloise, and Eloise asks her to draw a self-portrait on page 28 of one of her books. They spend their last night together before Eloise's mother returns with the ship to take Marianne away. As Marianne leaves, Eloise tells her to turn around, and she sees her in her wedding gown. In an epilogue, Marianne recounts that she saw Eloise twice more. In a gallery, Marianne sees a painting of Eloise posing with her young daughter and holding a book. The book is open to page 28. At an orchestra performance, Marianne sees Eloise in the balcony across from hers. She watches Eloise react emotionally to the music, a piece by Vivaldi which Marianne played on the harpsichord for Eloise during their time together. The film stars Noémie Merlant as Marianne, Adèle Haenel as Eloise, Luana Bajrami as Sophie, and Valeria Golino as Eloise's mother, the Countess. The film was shot on location in Brittany for 38 days. Adèle Haenel first worked with Céline Sciamma in Water Lilies, the director's debut in 2007. She also appeared in her short Pauline in 2010, and the two were romantically involved until just before Portrait of a Lady on Fire shot. The film was written with Adèle Haenel in mind. Sciamma wrote the words to the one song on the soundtrack, La Jeune Fille en Feu, in Latin. And basically what it translates to is they cannot escape. And then the other phrase is we rise. The piece by Vivaldi is the summer composition from the Four Seasons Violin Concerto. In terms of influences, Céline Sciamma has said that you can see the start of Portrait of a Lady on Fire as the continuation of Jane Campion's The Piano, where, you know, she jumps in the water to get her piano.
Right.
She was also influenced by Titanic, Mulholland Drive, Barry Lyndon for the lighting. The paintings in the film were done by artist Hélène Delmer. She painted on set based on the blocking of the scenes. Her hands are featured in the film as well. The paintings were displayed in a gallery in Paris to promote the film during its release. That, for me, is like the ultimate piece of movie memorabilia.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want one.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to buy one. The film won Best Screenplay at the Cannes Film Festival in 2019. It was acquired by Neon and Hulu for North American distribution. Despite the universal praise, France did not select this film to be their representative in the 2020 Academy Awards. It was shortlisted, and instead Les Miserables by Lodge Key was chosen and eventually nominated. Do you know about that film? It's not Les Miserables like Victor Hugo. It's about some sort of police unrest that happened like not too long ago in France. And it was just named Les Miserables. At the 2020 César Awards, the film was nominated for Best Film, Best Director, Best Actress for both, Most Promising Actress for Bajrami, Best Screenplay, Cinematography, Sound, Costume Design, and Production Design. It won only cinematography. However, Best Director that year went to Roman Polanski for An Officer and a Spy. And after the announcement, Adèle Haenel walked out of the ceremony and Céline Sciamma followed her. Have you seen that video?
Yes.
It's so good. Because she's like walking out and she's like clapping. She's like, bravo to the pedophile. It's really good. So Adèle Haenel was one of the one of the pioneering activists for the French Me Too movement. And this was actually her last film performance because she announced in 2023 that she was leaving the film industry because of its sexist and patriarchal values.
Oh.
So this is her last performance, or so she says.
Wow.
She might pull a Daniel Day.
Yeah, come back for your son's movie.
Okay, Greg.
What?
I have a bone to pick with you.
This is the problem with posting Letterboxd.
Why do you
scores.
do it? Don't do it.
I know. I wasn't going to do it but then I was like, oh, if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget to do it and I'll forget to log it. I like maintaining. Since 2017, I have logged every single movie I've watched.
I have not. That's crazy.
I'm obsessive about it.
I don't think you should do it from here on out. I walked in angry.
Or just stop rating things.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw this when it came out. I saw it with a friend at the Cinerama Dome here in Hollywood, which has been closed since, basically. And Céline Sciamma was there, and so were both stars.
No way.
Or just one. I think it might have been Naomi.
Wow.
They were there with Céline Sciamma, so they did a Q&A afterwards.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I saw in the Dome. Which is kind of weird to see a movie like this in the Dome, if you know the Dome. Just because it's kind of meant for like big spectacle movies.
This big spectacle.
So I saw it and I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I think what happened too was it's overwhelming and yeah, it feels like a great movie. And so when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, great. Go on Letterboxd, gave it 4.5 stars. Then it came out on Criterion, and Molly hadn't seen it. And so I bought the disc, showed it to Molly, and I did the same thing. I went on Letterboxd, I gave it 4.5 stars and a heart. This time, which was my third time seeing it, to my surprise, and this is the beautiful thing about life and art and whatever, is that I went down to a 3. It's funny, I went down to a 3, and then an hour later, my friend Jonathan texted me.
Yeah, good.
And was like, wow, from a 4.5 to a 3. And then you text me the next morning.
Yeah, I was like,
what the fuck? Okay, here's my thing with this movie. I think, first of all, inherently, and I know that it's not, Sight and Sound it's a poll from voters, from people who wrote in their 10 favorite films. I think for anyone to put this on their 10 greatest films list, 2 to 3 years after it came out, is an insane move, because we need movies to stand the test of time before we put them in the pantheon, especially the 100 greatest films ever made. I think Petite Maman, which was Celine's follow-up to this, came out since we've been doing this show. And I remember some episode.
It's also on the list.
It's also on the list.
Like on the 250.
Oh, 250. I had problems with that, though, where I was like, I loved this. I saw that. I was like, I like the idea, but this doesn't all click for me. And then since going back to this, I like this less. And I'll tell you, first of all, the fact, to get this out of the way, this shouldn't be rated R. This is rated R.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Of the nudity.
Yeah, but so what? So someone can't handle some breasts on... That's
the rating of rated R's.
No, but what about Titanic? That's PG-13.
It is?
And Titanic has more explicit sex scenes than in this movie.
Sure?
Yeah, Titanic is PG-13.
Well, wasn't the rating different back then?
No, I think it's homophobic to rate this R. I bet if this was a straight movie, it would be PG-13.
But there's boobs.
Yeah, but you can
vagina.
Have... Barely. It's dark.
Yeah.
You can have boobs in a PG-13 movie.
You can?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I don't know.
So I think this being rated R is insane. It should not be rated R. There's literally no sex in this movie. Yeah. And that's, you know what? Part of my problem with the movie.
No, Greg.
No, listen. This movie is beautifully done. It fooled me. The first 2 times I saw it, I thought I was watching a great film. It's not a great film. I think actually it's look, I don't dislike this movie. Let's be clear that a 3 out of 5 is still a solid rating for a movie. Not that my Letterboxd score matters that much.
See, this is why I don't rate things.
Okay, but I still think it's good. It's just not great.
Okay.
And here's the problem. Céline Sciamma, I think, is a stronger writer than she is a director. I love her film that was made into a stop motion movie called My Life as a Courgette or Zucchini. I think that's a beautiful movie. It's an hour long. It's animated. It all works. As a director, there's a problem with her work that I see a lot in modern sort of independent and art house cinema, which is it's totally monotone. The entire film has one tone, never breaks from that tone, and therefore feels dead. You mentioned the piano, how she wanted this to be that sort of a spiritual successor to the piano. The piano is great because it's alive. It's a piece of filmmaking that is rapturous and has ebbs and flows, and it has movements. Portrait of a Lady on Fire just sits there dead on the screen. And I didn't remember it being this way, but rewatching this yesterday, it's like it just kind of lays there. And that means anytime you do get moments of movement, like when they're playing cards, and even then, just them slapping cards down comes as a shock to you because the rest of the movie is so still. And I guess you could argue it plays into the painting, the painterly nature of the film is that it's so still. I think for a 2-hour film to be this glacial and just still, it's not the move. And I know that this movie is beloved. Most of my friends gave this 5 stars on Letterboxd. But I think for something like this to be on the list and something like Taste of Cherry to not be, where that movie has stood the test of time, and like, I don't know, this movie's still new. I just think it needs more time. But yeah, I also too, I respect the actors in the movie, but I think that the movie is so aware of its own preciousness and the way that actors like look at each other and move their eyes around on each other's faces. And there's these long pauses. And I think Céline Sciamma is so determined to like make a quote unquote great film that it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel alive. This movie does not feel alive. And that's my biggest problem with it. I think there's a lot that's beautiful about it. I like the story. I like the actors, but they're giving a very performance-y kind of performance. And I have more to say, but I just think that it takes itself too seriously. It takes itself so seriously that it's like it's screaming, "This is a piece of cinema." And that's my problem with it. You go ahead.
Well, I fundamentally disagree with everything you just said. I think this movie's beautiful, masterpiece, lovely. It does everything I want a movie to do. Every time I watch this movie, my love of movies is reinvigorated.
That's great.
This is the first movie that we've done on the list that I can go in my AMC app and find out exactly what day I saw this movie.
Well, see, I can do that with Letterboxd.
No, I mean go to the movies and like see it.
Yeah.
Which is an event, I feel like, for any film on this list. Like to be able to say like, I remember when I saw that. I remember when I went to the movies to see that. So that made me feel nice. It was February 28, 2020. It was like the second to last movie I saw before movie theaters shut down. And I went with my friend. Hi, Michael Allen, if you're listening. And just completely awestruck from the moment it started to the moment it ended. Like, I was obsessed. And when the Criterion came out during the pandemic, I bought it, and my sister had never seen it. And one day I was like, when the pandemic happened, I was watching 2 movies a night easily. And so she came down one night and she was like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "This really amazing movie." And I just started it. Do you want me to start it from the beginning? And she's like, "Okay." She loved it. It's become like one of our movies. So for this recording, I went to her house and we watched it together because it's one of our like sister movies now.
That's cute.
And my little baby nephew saw it for the first time. He's like 11 months old. He liked it. You know?
It shouldn't be rated R, right? I mean, yeah, exactly.
He especially loved the clapping. He really loved that. And I just think this is an all-timer. I'm sorry. I think it's an all-timer. I think every shot, and on a deeper level, every moment of this movie, you call it like over, like trying hard, or you call it like, oh, I'm trying to make a piece of cinema, but I just think that it worked. Like, I think every moment is designed to work and hold your attention, and it does for me. I just think, and I think what's amazing about this movie is that it's an extremely cozy movie, like visually and auditorily. Mm-hmm. However, it's also this extremely slow, like sexual tension, slow burn lesbian love story, which like to achieve both, I think is incredible. And like you said, the painterly design of it all, like I love that. I just think it's an opus. Mm-hmm. I just think it's an opus, and I don't think she was sitting there trying to make cinema. I think she was trying to make. No, first of all, I love her work. I love like.
But wait, to say that she wasn't gunning to make this a profound piece of art, you don't.
She was proud. She was trying to make this a profound love story, and I think it succeeds. And she said that. And it's a movie where form and function are so hard, like they're so tied together that it's hard to talk about one without talking about the other. And it does so much, I think, while remaining simple. And like you said, the camera doesn't move that much. And I love that about it. And it's also easy to love on a surface level. Like this time around, my best friend came over and she's not a movie person. And she watched it. She loved it too.
She wasn't bored?
No.
So I think
maybe it's a girl thing.
I think it's kind of boring.
I don't think it's boring.
It's 2 hours for a monotone film that literally never changes gears. And that's the thing too.
There's so much
because you're leading up to.
There's so much tension, though.
There's tension, and here's part of my problem. And I'm not just a guy trying to see 2 women have sex on screen, but like for all this tension and buildup to then never get to see it, it just feels.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that, and I think it comes from a place of like the trauma. This is really bad, but the trauma from blue is the warmest color, and the trauma that had on
still haven't
French
seen
cinema,
right?
Of like just extreme exploitation of
but
like
it doesn't
lesbian
need
love
to be
scenes.
extreme.
For sure, but I think that that's not this like having the sex scene there is just not this movie. I don't think it is.
And that's the problem.
No, I don't think that's a problem.
Because here's the thing. If a whole movie hinges on both of these women, before this, you get the sense they've both been straight or sexless.
I don't think Marianne has been.
Oh, really? You think she's been with other women?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, she said she's been knocked up.
Yeah.
So she's
been with a guy.
Well, I could see her being with women, actually.
I think because the way that this movie so gradually leads up to their romance, that both of them, they're kind of struck by each other's beauty, but you get the sense like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this because like she's a woman, and like, but because the movie has so much sort of pent up like sexual longing and stuff, the fact that when it happens they start kissing and then immediately cut to them just the next morning, sleeping, it just feels.
But here's the thing. Okay, let's talk about the romance then. Maybe we should start with the romance. Céline Sciamma has said that equality was very important to her. Like what she was sick of was seeing like romances of inequality. And so like this was the first of a slew of period lesbian romances that came after it. But what the appeal of this desire is, it's not that it's forbidden. It's equality. Like it's the fact that Eloise is about to enter into a life where this kind of romance is not possible. And it's not just because she's marrying a man. It's because he's an aristocrat. It's because it's someone she's never met before, she doesn't know anything about. I mean, it is because she's a woman too, obviously, but it's not because she's a lesbian. It's because she's a woman.
Yeah.
And so she's not going to have a life of her own. She's not going to have this. And that's why like the appeal here is the equality. It's not the forbidden sexual desire. I think it's more the equality. And that's why that ecosystem when the mom leaves is so important and so lovely. And I'm going to talk about that later, but like there's artistic collaboration here. Like their love has that. Like they hear each other, they talk to each other, they have discussions about Orpheus and stuff, and no one's trying to conquer anyone else. And like they've like closely observed each other, and through this observation and their talks and their shared experience of being women, they fell in love. And so it's not about the sex for me. And it's just like every time they kiss, it is visually like beautiful, but also, or anytime they have like a tender moment, but also the writing is so lovely and it has like real bangers in here. So I think that like for me, it's more a story about equality and how that was so hard back then. And the beauty of being a restraint film like this is they never have to say that out loud. We never see Marianne like being discriminated against because she's a female artist. It's just like at the end she goes, oh yeah, I'm working off my dad's name. So to me, like it's more about all of that and also these like beautiful romantic lines that are written into this movie. I do think she's an incredible writer.
Well, I get what you're saying, but when the ecosystem of the film is this small, because this movie's so deliberate, like there's like 4 people in this movie basically.
Yeah.
And for most of the runtime, it's just the 3 of them.
Yeah.
When you create an ecosystem like that and they're already isolated in this manner and you have to take a boat to get there and all these things, and then I get the equality thing, but like there's a love story going on here. And because it builds up for so long, I'm not trying to be like, you got to have explosions and you got to have the car crashes, whatever. But it's like, it doesn't need to be explicit. In fact, the sex in this should not be explicit. It should be in the dark, and it should be half clothed and half under something, or like, I think without it just, I don't know.
No, for me, I get that in the moment when she's saying goodbye. Oh my God. That's an explosion to me. And the way that like, you can see her face, but the mom can't see her face, and she wants to cry so bad, and she wants to like smell her. And oh my God, I love it. I love that. That moment for me is enough of a sex scene. And
right.
Even like there's like a really tight shot of them kissing, and I think it's when they have just like rubbed. Is that weed? Do we know what that is on the armpits?
that's something.
That's beautiful to me. Like that really tight shot, and then they pull out, and then when she's trying to give her water, like that's all enough for me.
Well, to touch on that scene, I just think it's a sign, and again, I'm in the minority here. I understand. I think it's a sign of weakness when your movie, for no good reason, never changes gears ever. In 2 hours, feels the same. You could look at the first scene, you could look at a scene in the middle, and you could look at a scene, an hour and 50 minutes in, and they all have the same fucking rhythm and tone.
What about when she's running on the beach?
Yeah, that's one. During the attempted abortion scene?
No! When she's running to her on the beach because the mom is coming the next day. Yeah. And what about the fucking abortion?
Yeah, but even the abortion is done so like, there's this weird, I know the movie is supposed to kind of feel delightful and tactile and all these things, but like that stuff is always in the corners of the frame, like when she goes to get the abortion or when she's hanging and you just see her feet, or like I just strangely have a problem with the way that this movie feels and is put together.
Wow.
I like the story of the movie a lot, and I like the look of the movie, but I don't like the rhythm of the movie. And the fact that they take drugs. This is the dullest drug scene I've ever seen in a movie. They take drugs and they finger each other's armpits. And then they wake
they're
up.
Putting the drugs there.
No, I know.
That's their way of taking it.
But it's the dullest, like, I don't know.
What do you want them to do?
I'm waiting for the filmmaking to like change gears a little bit. I know this seems like a very pedantic kind of like argument of like, it needs to have movement to it. But like, it really does. At some point, needs to have movement. It finally does at the end. Or, okay, even a score, right? Which she...
What about when a ghost appears? What about when she starts seeing visions of her?
I like that.
Come on.
No, I'm not denying that the movie looks beautiful.
No, that's a change in gear.
Yes, but the whole movie just has this very languid
What about
rhythm.
The clapping and the women? And she literally catches on fire. And then there's this incredible match cut of them on the cliffs, and it's so tense.
Yeah, but even the fire, it's like she catches on fire and then it kind of doesn't notice it, and then people kind of come over and step on it, and then she falls over very languidly. And it's like the movie is so committed to this. And I know I see Barry Lyndon in this, and that's another film that's based on portraitures and like 17th and 18th century like art and stuff like that. But that movie ebbs and flows and has different feels and movements to it. And this movie is all the same. It just feels very flat. At the end, you finally get something. My two favorite scenes of this are the two epilogues. Is her looking at the painting and then her watch the concert, because at least there's movement in those scenes of like the music and some real emotion bubbling over where she's kind of heaving listening to Vivaldi. So at least there's something there. But before that, this movie is just asleep for me.
I think the fight has real emotion. Like, I think when they have their fight, it breaks my heart, and they're both breaking down. And we've especially never seen Marianne break down. And that really gets...
It doesn't feel monumental enough.
What about the part where she jumps in the ocean? What about the part where she's going to jump off a cliff?
But you never feel like it's real. You never feel like she's actually going to do it. And what do you mean jumps in the ocean? She just walks in.
She doesn't know if she can swim.
Whatever. I don't feel any sense of... It just doesn't... This movie needs an injection of something. It needs to have movements. I don't know. I mean, can you think of a film... Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
no,
do you agree?
I think that this film does have movement. I think everything I've just named is different from like the first time she arrives in the chateau. But also, I think I think that I love that style. Like, I love Céline Sciamma's style, and so I love even like I love these diversions, but I also love that it is like languid, let's say. I love that about it.
Do you think that this should have a score?
I don't need one.
Why?
because I don't feel its absence. I really don't. I really don't, because like, again, it's like, I love, first of all, there's so many amazing sounds in the movie, but like when she even just arrives there and she goes downstairs for a midnight snack and you hear the door creaking and you hear like the fire crackling and you see her like get out the plate and even the plate makes a noise. Like,
well, you wouldn't have a score there.
I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I hear you, the tactile nature.
I love the sounds in this, and I love that contributes to this very like, this is an ASMR movie, and I don't think you need sound. I don't think you need score.
I think it's missing it. I think there's this.
What about the way that she you're saying, sorry, I'm going back to It's All One Note. What about when she discovers the painting and it's like a creepy like face painted over it? Like that's.
Maybe it's just scrubbed out.
It's startling to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this movie...
I think there's tension in the shots. Like, I love the ironic, like, long holds. Like, when, in the framing device, when she's teaching that class, and it's just on her because they're painting her, and she's just posing, and then we kind of see her face change, and she's like, who brought that out? And then you see that it's the painting. Or, like, when you can clearly see she's painting someone, and then it cuts to Sophie, and it's like that ironic, like that part makes me giggle. That part made us all giggle the last time we watched it, because it's Sophie wearing the dress because she can't get Eloise to wear the dress,
right?
Or like the first time she sees the painting and then it cuts immediately to the bottom of that green dress running, and you're like, oh my god, is this her? Like, we haven't met her yet, and then it's Sophie holding it. So I think it just plays very well with this idea. Like, I think that the tension built in with the camera work, with these long language shots, like, I just think it works.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that the tableaus are beautiful. Like, I love when they're cooking dinner, the three of them, and Sophie's the one sitting down and knitting, and they're cooking dinner.
Yeah.
And I love, even when Sophie is there giving her wine or whatever, and anytime they're in front of that fireplace, I just love it.
Does the
I just love it.
Who's like the maid?
Sophie.
There's something about her, and it's not a dig at the actress or anything, but she doesn't feel authentic. Like, she feels like she just feels like Instagrammy or something. You know what I mean? And there's something about her, these kinds of movies where like she gets there and she's just like, hello. Just very few words, and it's just... I
love it. I think it's awkward, and I think it's on purpose. Like, there's tension in the air when she gets there, and when she goes like, when she pulls her aside and she's like, can you tell me like what, like, let me see, I wrote it down. It's when she goes down to the late night snack, and there's tension in the air. It's awkward. She's like, I'm sorry, like, I helped myself. She goes, the sister died. And then she goes, was it disease? And Sophie's just like, no. And it's like, oh, what happened? Like, I think it works. To me, the awkwardness, the tension, the slow, like, it all works for me. It works.
Do you like this more than the piano? Because there are a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah.
Or like when Marianne's hands are covered in paint and she's pouring herself a glass of water. And then Eloise comes in and it's one long shot and she hides her hands behind her back so she doesn't see. And you're like, oh, like she's going to see, but she's not. And then it's just, I just love it. I just love it. And the writing, like we said, like, I love when the mom is like, she's fond of you. And she's like, Marianne's like, how do you know? And she's like, well, she talks about you. Like, that's such a simple truism. Like, it's just, and then immediately after, Marianne feels so guilty. Like, she's like, oh my god, like, what have I done?
I think there's also some bad writing in there too. Like when the mother's about to go away and she's like, kiss me like you did when you were a little girl, and it comes out of nowhere and it just feels
Greg, it's French.
And then she puts her hands on her mouth slowly and then reaches out towards her mom. It's like, oh my,
it's God. French.
I don't know.
I love when the mom has another banger. She says, it takes two to be funny.
I wouldn't say it's a banger.
Well, she's like, because you're here and they live in such an isolated place.
Yeah. And then
I love when Marianne's when she's painting and then Eloise is like, what do you tell your other people? Like, what do you tell the male models? And then she just starts talking, but you think she's talking to Eloise. And then she goes, I tell them that. Because she says, like, you're pretty, you're whatever, you're glowing today.
Right.
And then she smiles. And it's just so good. It's so good. And then the whole, like, Page 28, Greg. Page
Yeah.
28.
I just have a problem with the way that everyone looks at each other so meaningfully in this movie.
What about the fight? Like, can we talk about
Do you think this movie's
fight?
going for a naturalism?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It's going for like paintings, but also like more than that, it's just like it's a quiet calm, because I do feel when the mom goes, turns into slumber party vibes. They're free in the house.
It should.
And it's wonderful. But this is what I mean. This movie brings me comfort, even though it's a tragic love story. And so I think that it's not naturalism. It's more, it's like comforting and like building tension at the same time. And that's one of the things I love so much about it.
It's kind of trying to do like a Babette's Feast kind of thing. Tonally.
Yeah.
Where it's like you go in and it's like this delicious meal that's been laid out for you. And it's like, ooh, the delights and the this. And like, that's the vibe it has. I just don't think it fully nails it. I like the two actors a lot. I like the two leads a lot. I think they have great chemistry. I just feel like some of their acting is what they were told to do, or the way that Céline has cut it.
But I think that the fight, like, what about Adèle Haenel in the fight scene? I think is incredible acting in particular.
I just wish that the movie wasn't afraid to get its hands a little dirty, because it's like, obviously in the scenes where they're trying to give her an abortion, the movie still kind of wants to be delightful. And like I said, she's kind of hanging off frame, and it's like,
it is like the cinema of restraint, and it is transcendental. Like, I get it. Like, I get if you don't like it, but
if this movie had some flourishes in it, but most of the movie was still kind of languid and very deliberate and hushed. Everyone kind of whispers in this movie. It's like you said, it's like ASMR, the movie, and I can appreciate that. But I need some like wild brushstrokes in the middle of that. And I think when it's all the same thing, and I think the moments of movement you spoke of were not enough for me. It just kind of frustrated me last night. And like I said, I watched this with Molly, who had seen this before, and she was falling asleep. And at a certain point, even as the movie was kind of climaxing, she's like, I'm going to bed. And I kind of felt the same. I was like, yeah, I'm also like, it just wasn't working the way. And did I have a bad viewing experience last night? Maybe that was the case. But like, and this is part of the thing about film, is that it just, hits you different on different days, or any good art. But I mean, it's not totally fair to do this, but let's compare it to another queer romance made around the same time, Call Me By Your Name, which came out 2 years before this. Different films, but I think similar in the sense that they both kind of revel in the delights of living and of a young romance and sort of a forbidden romance. Both movies are very tactile. Both movies take place in very beautiful settings. But the reason I like Call Me By Your Name so much more is that it's allowed to breathe. And a lot of the tone of Call Me By Your Name is not so far away from Portrait of Lady on Fire. Is it totally wrong to compare the two of them?
Yeah.
But it's also a tragic romance. They also can't be together, and ends on this.
Completely different. Both
movies end with people crying.
No, that's completely different.
It is a story about domination.
And everything.
I don't think that she is a filmmaker worthy of a film on the top 100 films list. I think she's good. I don't think she's reached her peak yet. But also, I haven't seen like Girlhood. She did that, right?
Yeah. Have you seen Tomboy?
I haven't. Are those those are worth seeing?
I disagree. I think that this movie's an all-timer. I think everyone I know loves this movie except you, and everyone I show this movie to, even if they're not film people. That's why I think as a film person, there's so much to love. And as a lay person, it's delightful.
Yeah.
Like but also tragic, like very sad. My friend was very sad at the end. This was the first time seeing it. And it teaches people to have a higher standard for films, I think. Or at least
in what way? Just being...
It's just art. Like, this is film art while also being a movie anyone can enjoy.
Well, I think the pace... Although, I mean, if you have friends that aren't film people that love it, I guess that speaks otherwise, but I feel like the pace is kind of off-putting to people who aren't film people.
I don't know. And I love the story, and I love how it's like about feminism in this like, and it creates like a feminist ecosystem, all while being in a French chateau in the 1700s. Like that's so unexpected. Like that's really when the mom goes and they have that like week-long slumber party. I think that's so important, and I love it so much. And it's like, doesn't matter that Sophie's the maid. She's hanging with them. And they're all helping each other out and supporting each other and playing cards and having discussions that they can't have when like, that's why the logline was so funny. I actually thought our logline today was quite funny because when the mouse is away, truly, when the cat is away, the mice do play. But what makes the film so great is that even though the mom is the person who dictates like the end of this relationship, she gets it. Like she has lines where she's like, do you think I don't know her anger? Like her mom, every woman is together in this. And that's why I love this film so much. And that's why when they have their fight, it's so heartbreaking to me when she says like, you're not on my side now. Because every woman in this movie is on every other woman's side. And I just think it's a beautiful, wonderful way to make a period piece set in the 1700s. Because you don't have to, it's not explicit at all. Like I said, there's no scene of her like being discriminated against because she's a woman, or like they don't have to say like, oh, Sophie, like you can eat with us today. Like they just do it. And that's what I love about it so much.
Yeah.
One of the many things I love about it so much. I also just think it's one of the most beautiful, like visually, aesthetically, everything, most beautiful films. Like I think.
Do you think it should have been shot on film?
I don't know. I have no problems with the way it looks. Like, I think it's beautiful.
I think it looks slightly digital. I mean, because it is. But
the way that the light is softened to make everyone look like very painterly, like I'm obsessed with all that. Like,
yeah. I almost wonder if this movie was made in like the 60s. There's that weird thing sometimes I like, and this is stupid, but like a very digital look, especially for a period piece like this that's supposed to feel very real and lived in and stuff, just sometimes takes me out of it. And I can't imagine if this movie had film grain and like, you know, it just would have a whole other feel to it.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna say everything I like about this movie, although I feel like I've sort of said that because again, I'm not coming for it. I don't dislike it. I just don't think it should be on the top 100. And yeah, I'm just not like obsessed with it or anything. But I do love a lot of the things you just said. Like I love it for those same reasons. I love how feminist it is. I love almost in a revisionist kind of way. Like at the time, would they have been that nice to Sophie? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it exists in this kind of like almost like a fantasy. So I appreciate that. I think the two leads are great. Even if some of the direction they've been given is a little much, I think they're great. I saw Naomi in a film when I went to Sundance shortly after this. So I went to Sundance 2020 right before COVID. And she was in a movie called Jumbo. I don't know that it like lived past, I don't know if it's had a life beyond Sundance or whatever, but she plays a woman that works at a fairground and she falls in love with the Jumbotron ride.
That's so funny.
Like a romance. So it was weird seeing, like I had seen this just a few months before that, and then I saw that, so she falls in love with a fairground ride.
Interesting.
But yeah, I like her, but they're both really good, and
she's in Tar as well.
She is in Tar.
Yeah.
Another one of my all-timers. But I need to see that again, and I only saw that one time.
So I hate you. I just hate you.
You know, it's funny actually, this and Tar, like two movies that I liked but didn't love and had problems with both of them. Both kind of have this very like very self-serious sort of like, you know, dude, this movie doesn't really have any humor in it, despite a couple moments where they kind of laugh something off. It's very serious.
Yeah, it's serious. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It needs a little levity. It just takes itself very, very seriously.
I feel the levity. I like when they play cards. I like when she makes her laugh. I like when she says you took your time being funny.
Yeah, but she's not actually funny.
I love the moment where it's after they've like hooked up.
Yeah.
And she just keeps smiling. And she's like, stop smiling. Like, be serious. I love that stuff.
I do too.
It.
Would it kill them to throw a couple fart jokes in here? If they ripped like a couple farts in this movie, I would be on board.
Oh my God.
I love all the ghost stuff too. Like that's beautifully done. And you know what?
It's all the same tone. It's all the same.
It is though. The whole movie has the same rhythm.
There's a ghost.
So what? The whole movie has the same rhythm.
It's so funny with the whole Orpheus stuff. This came out right when I was deep into, like, Hadestown came out, I believe, in 2018. So I was really into the myth of Orpheus. And when this popped up, well, I remember when I was in the movie and I was like,
you're like, they're speaking my language.
Hell yeah. And then when she turns around.
Yeah.
I just love it. And I love her painting at the end of the Orpheus myth. And it's like, oh, it's like they're saying goodbye. And it's this I don't think a sweeping, heart-stopping romance like this needs fart jokes, Greg. Sue me.
I was over exaggerating. It needs something. It needs something.
But I would genuinely, I would not change a single thing. I think this movie's a stone cold.
That's great.
Stone cold.
Well, most people agree with you. This is a totally random thought, and I would only bring this up because I'm talking to you specifically. But the scenes where she sees her as a ghost, and it's done by lighting her in this really ethereal way with intense kind of floodlights when she's standing in a dark hallway, and then she kind of disappears, and you can tell they just turned the lights off or faded the lights on her off like very beautifully and
like out
uniformly.
Of focus too.
But then you can still see the shape of her standing there in the dark, and it reminded me of at Disneyland the Pinocchio ride when
what the fuck?
In the final scene of the Pinocchio ride, the fairy godmother, they do that Pepper's ghost effect where like she turns Pinocchio into a real boy, and she like lowers her wand, and then the fairy disappears, and it's done by that effect, which is an old magician's effect from like 200 years ago called Pepper's Ghost, which they also use in the Haunted Mansion, where you have a figure, you light it, and then through mirrors, it looks like the figure is somewhere where it's not, and then all you have to do is turn the lights off, and then the figure disappears. So on the Pinocchio ride, this is such a long lead up for such a dumb anecdote, but the fairy godmother disappears, and then if you look hard to the right as you pass it, you can see her dark figure just there, and it is always kind of terrifying because she's just like not lit, and it reminded me of in this movie when she like disappears.
That's funny.
Everyone's like, shut up, Greg, talk about the movie. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you like this movie? I like it. I just could be better.
I don't think you like French films.
But that's like such a blanket statement.
You don't like them though.
But I like Varda and Truffaut and Gaspar Noé. See, Gaspar Noé
is different.
If Gaspar Noé came in here and directed a couple scenes and then Céline did the rest, then now we're talking.
All right. Well,
I can't wait for all the hate mail I'm going to get for this one.
I disagree with every single thing you said.
I think everyone listening probably does. Sight and sound?
Yeah.
Why don't you go first because I have a paired one.
It's impossible for me. I love everything. Like, pretty much love... Like any scene, any shot in this could probably be my favorite sight. I think it's probably the match cut from the bonfire to the cliffs. And also the music there is going still. It's like left over. But that's not even my favorite sound. Or the long shot that follows her hands behind her back covered in paint. I love that as well. Or maybe the first time Eloise turns around, like that could also be it. Or maybe it's the three of them cooking. It's everything. It's everything. I also love when Marianne is wearing the green dress and she's looking in the mirror so she can paint it. Oh,
I guess I like the shot where this isn't my favorite, but where she's drawing herself and the mirror is up against, what's her name?
I love that as well.
And she's kind of out of focus. It doesn't feel,
It's so
good. That's a nice image.
Oh, I love that. And the last shot of Eloise watching the performance, it's everything. So
yeah, that's a great one. Well, my sight and sound is the master shot of the three of them preparing dinner and drinking wine while the fire crackles in the background. And it's like, it's one of those movies you want to live in. Yeah. It is. Even if you want more things to happen, it's a great, beautiful fireplace and You could just imagine the smells coming from the pot that's cooking, and it's, yeah, love it.
That's great. I love that shot and all the sounds.
Yeah.
My sound is when she is about to draw. So Eloise and Sophie. I love how Sophie is like sleeping in the same room as them, even before the abortion, even before they're taking care of her. And they're all laying in Marianne's bed of all beds.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts drawing Eloise while she's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But she pulls out a piece of paper. And the sound is incredible. Here it is.
Yeah, the Foley work in this movie is next level.
It is.
Yeah.
And also, shout out to the artist that did the paintings. I love every single painting in this.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's such a magic trick to me
movie.
because I can't draw or paint worth a shit.
Yeah, me neither. In fact, after I watched this movie, when I was updating the website, I literally made it my background.
Oh, nice.
I'm showing Greg right now.
I especially love that tool that's like a stick with the soft end where you can rest your hand on it without having to.
And I love anything that's like a period piece, but showing us very specifically how they did things. And so to see how an actual painter in the 1700s would paint, I love that about it as well.
Yeah. I feel like the movie almost could have used more of those details because outside of that, I can't think of that many that are like very period specific.
Yeah, maybe not, but
maybe the abortion
I love her
stuff.
coat. I love her, like,
do you think it's...
what's it called? Like the apron.
Oh, yeah. I like the apron. Do you think it's too much that when Sophie is like getting the abortion that like the baby is like right next to her?
No. In fact, that was one of the points I was going to make is I think that's fucking good and bold. Like, I think it's...
Yeah, I don't know. I think because the rest...
I love it.
I don't know.
It's like, if this doesn't go well, this is what's going to happen to you. But it's also like sad.
I didn't get that at all. I got that it was sad. It's like
both.
what could have been.
I think it's both. I love it. But it almost to me it's both, but it's like this abortionist is not that good, so it's like, hey, if you actually give birth, I'll take the baby.
Yeah, maybe.
You
is that what
know.
Those are? Those are other people's babies?
Maybe that she couldn't abort or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Do you think that the guy that shows up is Sophie's baby daddy?
Yeah, for sure. Why? Who do you think it was? Someone from the bonfire? Or that's all women, right?
It's all women. Let's talk about the bonfire.
Yeah, see, that's almost a moment
it's not
that...
natural. Exactly, like we said, is this naturalistic? Like, no, like that bonfire, come on, that's a change.
Yeah, but it's so brief and like, it's just not
creepy.
enough. It's like, not enough.
Come on.
Also, the song that it's very, and Molly even said while we we're watching it, she's like, we used to do warm-ups like that in choir. And it's like, I don't want to, that's the thing, it felt very choir kiddie, whereas like it's supposed to be the 1700s.
Don't they sing church choir?
No, I know. It just,
church choir.
It felt very like, I don't know.
Oh, come on, Greg. Now you're nitpicking.
I know.
You're really nitpicking.
I am, because
I don't know why. This is a lovely, beautiful, wonderful movie.
It just on this viewing rubbed me the wrong way.
I can't wrap my head around that. I really can't.
And what I can't wrap my head around is this being a masterpiece.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I always thought this is like an objectively perfect movie, but I guess
perfect.
I think, like I said, I would not change a single thing.
There's so few movies that I would say that about.
This is one of them for me.
So for you, absolutely spot on the top 100. No questions asked.
Listen, I get what you mean about let's give things more time before they land on it. So I'm not against you on that. Like, I felt the same way about Get Out.
Yes. Well, we agreed on that one.
But am I mad that a movie that I love and think is perfect is on the list? No, I'm not mad. No. But I agree. Like, maybe we should give films a little more time.
Well, it's interesting to see so since we've come back and we've done the 2022 list, there's only a couple movies that we've agreed should be on the top 100. Cleo from 5 to 7, I think you said should.
I think it should.
I think said not quite. I like it a lot, but I think one of her other movies could have taken its place. Although she does have The Gleaners and I is on the top 100.
That shouldn't be on the top 100.
Black Girl, I think, should be on the top 100.
I do too.
Do the Right Thing, we're both in agreement, should be on the top 100. Tropical Malady, I think it could have been one of his other films, but I don't have a problem with it. Daisies, we split. You said no. I said yes. We both said no to Get Out. And then for this one, we split too, whereas you think absolutely, I think no.
It's not that I think absolutely. Like, yeah, eventually. But I get what you mean in saying that, like, maybe we should wait a little bit.
Yeah, I just think there's a case of recency bias. And I think, like, this is dumb, but we all just did this New York Times top 10 of the 21st century. But no, here's what that's fine, obviously. But like, I did a thing where I didn't pick any movie after 2020. Because I was like, if it came out after 2020, it's only been out a few years. Who's to fucking say?
I agree.
And so like, I just out of principle was like, it needs to at least be 5 years old at this point.
To be fair, I also excluded so many movies that I love on that.
Oh yeah, you have to.
It's crazy how many I didn't put.
It took me hours to make that list.
And I still hate my list.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, anyway, so I do think that things just need a second. It was like, yeah, you said the first ever Sight and Sound list had Bicycle Thieves on it, which had just come out a couple years before. But yeah, and some movies when they come out do feel like instant classics, and this did, and next week's movie does too. Little hint there. But there's so many great films from the 90s and 2000s that are not on the top 100 and could have taken this spot, or the spot of Get Out, or the spot of, other. So anyway, that's just where I'm at. It's cutthroat at this point, So to see what newer films make it on versus the ones that don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, we would normally do Pauline Kael here, but Pauline Kael obviously had been dead for like 20 years by the time this came out. But we do have Letterboxd.
And Letterboxd has this fun thing that if you want to rate this movie, it's all flames.
It's flames. Stars. Yeah, fire. I wrote one when this came out.
About how much you loved it, you liar.
Yeah, do you want to? Okay. From when this came out, I gave it 4.5 stars. And I said, deafening in it's stillness, generous in its telling. Sciamma has that rare talent that makes you forget about every other movie while you're watching it. Her minimalist approach belongs to the great European art film tradition.
Wow.
But see, that screams at me being like, well, it looks and sounds like a great movie, therefore it must be a great movie.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
You're like, where's that Greg?
I want that guy. 5 stars. Me. Looks at a woman. Also me. Wow. This is just like Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
5 stars. Fuck zodiac signs. Are you a Vivaldi Four Seasons summer lesbian or a Sufjan Stevens Visions of Gideon gay?
I like that.
Bridging the gap. Told you.
5 stars. Absolutely no men in sight. Just people vibing.
That it is. Well, there are a couple guys in this. 1/2 star. I couldn't finish it. It was so dull. It was insufferable. I'm gay, but not gay enough to watch these hoes, Jesus, breathe and stare at each other for more than 20 minutes. I agree about the breathing and the staring. It felt, anyway.
1/2 star. This is you, Greg. One of the most boring and uninteresting movies I ever saw. I really don't understand what all the fuss is about. It is poorly paced without any tension whatsoever, and not that great looking apart from a few shots. Never got involved in the story, never felt a sense of urgency or danger for the characters. I overall felt like it is a very pretentious movie with a script that could fit on a bus ticket. Lame! !
That's not me at all. I disagree with almost all of those points.
Oh, I'll never forgive you for this. I'll never forgive you for this.
Listen, I just have to speak my truth.
God.
2.5 stars. Less of a slow burn and more of a computer progress bar. A few moments of expression and even sublimity, like the sudden rising chant at a bonfire, Marianne seeing a vision of her lover in a wedding dress. But so much of this film is shockingly cold and technical for a period romance. There is romantic tension here, but it's so mechanical, like the film is ticking boxes on a sexual escalation checklist. It bothers me that a lesbian romance felt the need to elude any sexual dimension, hiding those parts away like it's afraid men might see them and, God forbid, get aroused. As a gay woman, it's my right to want them to actually show a little action and not cower in fear of the male gaze. Also, I gotta say, the last 2 scenes are good in isolation, but they should have just picked an ending and lived with it. Either one is a great expression of the exact same idea. Doing them one after the other just feels repetitive. You know what? I really like this review, and I kind of agree with it. Although I don't know that I have a problem with the 2 codas, but it is 2 endings. It is like they had 2 ideas.
I don't care.
And they're like, just do both of them.
I don't care. I saw her twice more after that. The first time's just a painting of her. The second time is just her. It's building up. They're different.
I would almost say that that final ending, while I love it with Vivaldi, is almost too big for the movie that came before it.
Absolutely. That's why you need the gallery one before. 5 stars. And I can't stress this enough, yelling. That's me right now at you.
3 stars out of 5 is still good.
Okay. I'm just waiting till this like returns on the big screen and you go see it and you're like, I changed my mind.
No, I mean, this is my 3rd time seeing it.
And your first time not liking it. You've loved it twice
3
before.
stars still means I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Like in that tone. It's good.
Okay. Well, okay. Never mind.
But we're talking sight and sound here, Jackie. In the sight and sound, like parameters, I think it leaves room for improvement.
Well, this has been
I think
not
too,
that fun,
one
but-
last thing is like a day before I watched this movie, I rewatched The Others, another great Criterion disc. I saw that movie when it came out, and I've seen it a number of times over the years.
That's like a horror movie.
Okay, it is a horror movie, but it is also a very deliberate sort of Victorian, not that this is Victorian, it predates Victorian, but it has that sort of, that one's set in the 1940s, but it also takes place in this very isolated house in the Channel Islands with Nicole Kidman and her kids. And it's also very sort of deliberate and soft, but on rewatch, I mean, I loved that. And then with this, it just like that one even kind of went up a little in my book. And then this one kind of went down. It's just the beauty of life is that things are constantly,
That's what
moving.
I'm saying. That's why I think when this comes out on re-release and you go see it again.
Maybe I will.
I don't know.
You know what? I totally am open to that experience. So
What are we doing next week?
next week, we're doing another literal instant classic. It's Parasite.
No way.
Yeah,
Are you
Parasite.
serious?
Yeah.
Also came out in 2019.
I think it was
no?
2019. Yeah.
Wow.
But that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us. As Jackie takes a big sigh over there. Come back next week for Parasite. Until then, I'm Greg.
I'm Jackie.
And we'll see you then.
Bye.
Seen and Heard is an official podcast of the Arroyo Film Club. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to drop us a line, you can find us on email at hello@seenandheardpod.com or on Instagram @seenandheardpod.